So we have
It started to be very respectful. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate your help. Let me just get this off my screen. We are being recorded. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. We really appreciate your time. My name is Dr. Hope Barkukas. I am the chair of the Department of Nutrition, but I am also one of the co-faculty leads, along with Dr. Harris. Dr. Harris?
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
So what we would like to do is really give you the opportunity to ask us questions. As we explained last week, this particular pathway has the sort of trifecta focus of you learning skills for your own wellness, you learning skills and sort of evidence-based information related to lifestyle medicine for your patients. And then it's also to engage in what we would call culinary medicine. That's really just a more recent fancy term whereby we are linking the evidence, the science of what we know about what foods can and cannot do with respect to our health and well-being with the art of cooking. And so we meet every week from, M1 and M2, excuse me, M1 and M2 on Thursdays. It would be at the HEC, and it would be a start time of 4 o'clock. It will usually run about an hour, but I will tell you that the weeks we are in the kitchen, which would be once a month, you will be back on the main campus, not at the HEC. You would take those little vans. It's really easy to do, but those would last longer than an hour. I would say, to be honest about it, depending on how speedy your group is, we're probably looking at about 2.5 hours. I think Dr. Harris would probably say sometimes 3. It just depends. We do not have any other requirements in year 4, M4s. I'm going to let Dr. Harris explain what she's going to do in 1 second. But our feeling is that the goal of this pathway is to de-stress you, not to add stress to your lives. Therefore, we're very cognizant of when you have scheduled exams, and we will have activities such as massages, pet therapy, yoga, walks, etc. And so again, you've just heard what the underlying themes and goals of this pathway are. And I'd like to have Dr. Harris explain the M4, what will happen, and then we're going to just open it up for questions. Dr. Harris?
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. So this year, we're really excited to announce new programming and curriculum that we're adding to students who are in the wellness pathway, again, that are in their 4th year. And what we will have is a hands-on culinary education course. We're calling it Cancer Calm. The title might change, but CALM stands for Culinary and Lifestyle Medicine. And this curriculum really focuses on cancer prevention at any stage. So, what is the effect of the diet, stress management, physical activity? What can these things do when we're targeting cancer prevention and, to really sustain healthy life as a cancer survivor as well. So prevention at any stage, prevention in general population, those at high risk, and then prevention for cancer survivors. And we're covering, dietary patterns, gut health, immune function, metabolic and hormonal health, environmental exposures, all of those types of things, and with a focus on the new American plate, which comes out of the AICR. So that starts this year. It's once a month for the M4s, and it is going to be done in our new beautiful teaching lab. So we'll meet a total of 8 times. And there will be a research component with that as well. So we're really excited about adding this.
So the teaching kitchen I didn't specifically mention, but it is brand new. It's a whopping 2 months old, and we've only held 1 official class in there. It is a large space. It's about 2,300 square feet. It is set up such that we can live stream, and the goal of that is ultimately we hope to engage the community. But at this point, because we got a lot of questions about this, at this point your wellness pathway is really focused on the students that have chosen this particular pathway. We hope to engage you in brainstorming with us on how we will use that teaching kitchen for the ultimate use of engaging the community, but I'll be honest, we're not there yet. So questions, anyone? Anybody at all? I'm trying to think of some of the other questions we got that day. Are there extra readings? No, but you will get a packet that is the background, all of the evidence for what it is that we are doing, irrespective of the topic. Those will be put on Canvas for you. And obviously, it'll be, much better for your engagement and appreciation if you have time to review the materials. But it's purely a self decision. There's not any quizzes, it's just really for your background information. We've learned from prior classes that it's helpful to create your own file, whether that's in the cloud or on your own computer, so that you can save this information for later. We have been doing this since 2016. And interestingly, many of our former students have gone into very high stress related medical specialties. We hypothesized that everyone would want to, or a great majority would want to go into, primary care. And that's actually not what we've seen. Surgery of all types, oh my goodness, OBGYN, NICU, I mean, really diverse. But what they said to us it was fascinating and very rewarding, was that the whole pathway taught them how to manage their own stress. And so they were very excited about choosing those particular specialty areas and confident that they would be able to, balance the requirements of that professional choice with their own lives. Anybody want to ask anything? Steph?
I'll just add to, that one of the main goals of all of this really is to help, medical students develop and to maintain healthy self-care habits, right? We really are attempting to promote improvements in self-care among our future physicians. But at the same time, the ultimate goal as well is to develop leaders who have these skills that can encourage healthy lifestyles for their future patients. So I would say we kind of have a two-pronged approach, and, the feedback that we've received has been very positive. It really is a fun pathway to be in. As Dr. Barkoukas mentioned, we're not trying to add to your level of stress here, but we're trying to make things evidence-based and practical enough that you can attend and gain specific skill sets for the promotion of healthy lifestyles.
So what I'd like to do, if we don't have any specific questions, is actually have you turn your cameras on for 1 second, and I'm going to actually ask you to just introduce yourself and say where you're from, and what at least sort of teases you about potentially being interested in this pathway. Not to put anybody on, sort of a stress zone, but just, because you're just still learning about each other, you're trying to meet each other. We do a lot of social events too. For example, Blue Zones are places around the world where scientists have learned that the life expectancy far surpasses what is expected, and yet they're successful aging. And so we have little sessions where those that respond, they RSVP, we give them wine and dark chocolates, and then we just have fun talking about what are the principles that we've learned with the Blue Zone. So that's just an example. So let's start on the top row. Brian?
Yeah, do you want to just say the prompts one more time?
I'm sorry. Sure. Just say, where you're from, obviously, who you are, and what is sort of the intrigue about this pathway for you.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm Brian DeVork, and I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Went to University of Michigan, was in Boston for a year. Those are my favorite places. The intrigue for joining this club is I basically just am super into longevity, health optimization, all things lifestyle medicine. And it really all bridges, you can't have that conversation without nutrition. I just have a strong desire to make that more mainstream in medicine.
Thank you very much. Joey?
Yeah, hello everyone. So I'm Joey. I grew up in the west side of Cleveland, so I'm, my apartment, you would be able to see if the blinds were open, the hack right outside. You drive 25 minutes that way. That's where I grew up. So I'm here partially because of the cooking, right? I just made a little caprese wrap, right? So it's always a big part of my life, right? Mayo with garlic powder, very time efficient kind of. But anyway, a lot of it's that, right? I love cooking. It's such a huge passion of mine, trying to find a way to fit in the schedules. But I think a lot of it too is just being able to take a step back, breathe,
Mm-hmm.
have the time to process everything that's going to be going on in med school. So I feel like it's going to be a really good fit.
And I think that's, you captured in a very nice sort of narrative what we are trying to do. Thank you. Fayez?
Hey everyone, my name is Fayez. I'm from LA. I went to UCLA for undergrad. Sorry, I've lost my voice. And then I'm interested in this pathway because I think a lot of diseases can be prevented entirely by eating healthy and exercising and having healthy habits. And so I would love to learn a bit more about that.
Thank you so much. Rachel?
Hi everyone, my name is Rachel. I'm from San Diego, California. And I think one of the things that interests me the most about this pathway is I know I personally, during undergrad, would definitely neglect my own wellness. So it just struck me as something I potentially wanted to explore a little bit further for myself and also like look at things to integrate into my future medical practice.
Good, thank you so much. Holly?
Hi, yeah, I'm Holly. I'm from Sacramento, California. Sort of similarly to what Rachel said, looking to do it for myself. And a lot of the work that I've done as well, when it comes to like memory problems and prevention of things like dementia, has been looking at like healthy lifestyle changes, including like nutrition and physical exercise. So it's something that I hope to incorporate into my future practice.
Very nice. A lot of fascinating data coming on that whole area. I really think we're just at the embryonic stages. Thank you. Jessica?
Hi, yeah, my name's Jessica. I'm from Colorado, and I was interested in this. In undergrad, I was in a student-run organization called the Student Wellness Advisory Board, and I was the president of the Healthy Bodies branch, but like we worked together with Healthy Minds and Healthy Communities. So I worked a lot in nutrition, but also just like looking at the intersection of those three types of wellness into like holistic wellness. So I was just wanting to like keep going with that like wellness
Great.
perspective.
Well, thanks so much for sharing. Grace?
Hey everyone, my name's Grace. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but I went to school in St. Louis, Missouri. And I'm interested in this pathway because, like Rachel said, I feel like I didn't manage my stress very well when I was in undergrad. And I expect med school to be even more stressful. So I just wanted to learn for myself how to manage that stress a little bit better. But also I'm very into cooking and healthy eating. So that was very enticing for me as well.
Sounds good. Thank you. Vanessa?
Hi everyone, I'm Vanessa. I'm originally from Canton, Ohio, which is about an hour south of Cleveland. I actually went to Case for undergrad and I took a few classes with Dr. Harris. And so I was a nutritional biochem major in undergrad, so I've always been interested in nutrition and how it relates to health. I also got an MPH, so I'm also really interested in public health nutrition and how we can use nutrition to better the health of the community and help prevent chronic diseases. So that's part of why I'm very much interested in this. Also, I just really like cooking and eating too.
That sounds fair. Thank you so much.
Nice to
Kaylee?
see you, Vanessa.
Kaylee?
Hi, I'm Kaylee. I'm also from Colorado. Hi, Jessica. And I am very interested in nutrition, partly because I have celiac disease, so I've had to get really creative with my cooking. And then I'm also very interested in the biochemistry of spices and plants around the world, and that's what I did my undergrad research on. So I'm excited to learn more about using some spices and the effects on the brain and other parts of the body.
I know, fascinating, isn't it? Thank you so much. Dana?
Hi, I'm Dana. I'm from like Princeton, New Jersey. And I think the intrigue for me is kind of been mentioned by some of my peers. Cooking is definitely a self-care for me. So I'm excited to continue that practice in med school. And I'm just really interested in how healthy living and healthy initiatives kind of can impact patient care. So yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. Jessica? Oops. We'll wait. No
I'm so
worries.
sorry. So also
No
my name's
worries.
Claire. I'm using my roommate's laptop, but I'm from outside of Philly and I'm interested in this pathway because obviously I'm really into cooking, in case you couldn't tell, and also just like establishing a good work-life balance in general during medical school.
Good for you. And I see you've got your apron on. You go. Perfect. Enjoy. Lauren?
Hi everyone, I'm Lauren. I'm from Houston, but I went to college in Texas. I would second everything that everyone said. When I was a sophomore in I watched a documentary about I forgot what it was called. It was basically about the dairy industry and um, the meat industry as a whole. And after that day, I stopped eating all types of meat. And my mom has always been vegan, so I've always learned about how nutrition impacts our health. And I would love to take that to a public health stance and like educate the community.
Thank you. We should say that the recipes you will make each week, there's 12 of them. We don't insist that anyone taste anything. It's purely your own decision. We really refer to the pathway as plant slant. I would say it's maybe 85, 90%, but it's not fully plant-based. And the logic or the rationale for that is that you will encounter many different walks of life, many different ethnicities and types of patients, and not everyone is going to be fixed in the plant-based world. And so we want you to be exposed. Again, you can totally decide if you don't want to eat it, that's totally fine. But we do have a heavy plant slant and not full plant-based program. So thanks for sharing, Lauren. McKenna?
Hi, I'm McKenna, and I'm originally from Pittsburgh. And I guess what really interests me, I like exercise. I think the field of exercise science is kind of booming right now and really becoming like gaining a lot of speed. And I think that that research will play into our practices as we grow into physicians. And I think it'll be cool to be around people who are kind of like-minded in terms of thinking about food and exercise and wellness.
Thank you. We do bring in a clinical exercise physiologist, and he really goes through sort of the nuts and bolts, getting you the skills. You know, what do you need to know before you encourage someone to begin an exercise program? That whole program is from the American College of Sports Medicine, and it's called Exercise is Medicine. And then we're planning some new sort of high intensity exercise programming this year as well. So thanks so much, McKenna. Abby?
Hi, my name's Abby. I'm from Denver, Colorado. I actually have kind of a similar story to Kaylee. We should talk about that, Kaylee, because I have celiac disease as well. And before I was diagnosed, I was so sick all the time. So once I found out I had celiac disease, it really transformed how I felt day to day. And I know there's a lot of other diseases that can be transformed by diet in the same way. So I'd love to learn more about that.
Good, thanks so much. Trey, nice to see you.
Good to see you as well, Dr. B. Trey Armstrong, from Newcastle, Delaware. Basically Cleveland at this point. Undergrad, and for my master's, so I know how great the nutrition department is, faculty members. So that was piquing my original interest, but also the aspect of nutrition to help fight health disparities and also just to make the cultural background and tie all those things in together to help impact people. And then also just wellness in my everyday life. So that's what interested me.
Great to see you, Trey. David?
Hi, I'm David. I'm from South Florida, also Fort Lauderdale, but I went to Case for undergrad. And I'm really interested in this because I really am interested in nutrition and I feel like there's like some gaps I have. So I really want to learn more about that and also just incorporating wellness into like different strategies into my everyday life and also like in practice as well.
Good, thanks so much. Okay, now Gian, you're gonna have to help me. Is it Gianmarco or are you marrying names?
It's close enough.
Please tell me, I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah, so hey everyone, my name is John Marco, and I'm from Alabama, but I grew up in Italy. I went to undergrad at Emory University in Atlanta, and similar to McKenna, I'm pretty much into exercise, interest in exercise science. I want to pursue a career in sports medicine, and so nutrition like ties very well. And so like both for just developing good nutritional habits, like personally for my practice, I just see this pathway is like very appealing.
Very good. And one of the faculty we're probably at some point going to have engage with us, his name is Christian Tomsik, and he actually did his PhD with one of the international experts in the whole area, Trey knows this, of, sports nutrition. And so it really, I think you'll really enjoy that whole aspect of it. And Brian, are you possibly there? I don't want to put you on the spot.
I am. Put me on the spot.
Hey, how are you, sir?
Good.
You're good? Okay, you moved around. Did I miss anybody? Because my screen keeps flipping. We're good? Okay, so any questions for us now? Anything that, if you're sitting there saying, I want to ask this, but I'm a little shy, I guarantee you somebody else wishes you would ask it.
I have a question.
Sure.
So can you refresh us on kind of like the timeline of this pathway, like throughout the years?
Absolutely. You mean what we're doing each year?
Yeah.
Okay. So M1 and M2, do we even have a starting date? Do you know, Dr. Harris?
Yeah, well, I believe it's the first, hold on, I'll tell you the exact date. First pathway session will be on September 7th.
Okay, so for your first 2 years, it's Thursdays weekly from about 4 o'clock, as I said, usually an hour-ish, unless we're in the teaching kitchen. All the other classes are at the HEC. There are a few speakers that, because they may not be local, and they are experts, that you might have Zoom, but predominantly at the HEC live. But the teaching kitchen will be back on the main campus. That's once a month. So that's M1 and M2. We invite M3s to join us at any time, but we have been doing this a very long time, and we have learned that in your M3 year, it's nonstop chaotic, and we have found that it is not feasible to think that you are going to be able to devote time on a regular basis to this pathway. So again, you're welcome. We will never close you out. You're always in our hearts, but it's not a requirement, and therefore it does not count against you for your attendance policy. M4 is what Dr. Harris described, and I'm sure she can re-explain it if you wish. But that's the setup. We, to be very truthful, have not done a senior project. I know when you read the pathway information, there is supposed to be one, but we just honestly have not yet gotten to that point. Frankly, one of the things we were waiting for was the teaching kitchen. But the other piece is that we've just observed that it's very difficult as you're in your latter 2 years to really have the bandwidth. And so again, the goal is not to stress you. And so, to be very honest, we have not done that piece yet. Anything you want to say, Dr. Harris?
Yeah, so this M4 curriculum that we're adding will be offered once per month. So we'll do a September, October, November, December, and then a January, February, March, April. So 8 times in your M4 year, you'll be expected to come back to us. It will all be run again in the teaching kitchen. Same culinary and lifestyle medicine focus, but with a cancer, twist. And, honestly, the guidelines and the evidence for cancer prevention really are in line with the prevention of chronic disease. So if some of you are thinking, I'm not going into oncology, I don't need this or want it, I would highly argue against that. This is curriculum that you can really apply to any specialty that you end up in, because think about it, if you're in endocrinology, OB, whatever it may be, you may have a patient that you can identify that has some cancer risk factors or that has survived cancer. And again, prevention is really prevention of chronic disease. So that will be, 8 times, and they'll be the 2 to 3 hour range, usual teaching kitchen time frame in the M4 year. But it's only for M4s, because the way that we're developing this curriculum, it's going to be more beneficial for students that have already been in the clinical setting, have worked with patients, and therefore have observed the barriers to lifestyle changes. So I think that you will appreciate it much more in your M4 year.
Lauren?
Yeah, this is a really specific question. I've just seen recently a lot of research about mushrooms specifically, and like different types of mushrooms and how to incorporate it in people's diet. Is that something like an example of something you would use maybe for a neurology um, class? Or...
Well, I'll answer you a little more broadly than perhaps you would like, and I have no problem if you are critical of me in doing so. But we try to avoid the halo effect. I think that the media is very good at identifying a singular food, and it becomes, sort of the angel of the year that if you eat this food, everything is going to be wonderful about your well-being. I'm not saying it's not true about what they're learning about mushrooms. There are numerous benefits physiologically and metabolically. And yes, we happen to use a lot of mushrooms. We use a lot of produce. In fact, we've been trying to work with vendors, figuring out how on earth we're going to manage the volume of what we do, just in terms of storage. But the point being is that you will be exposed to a lot of different types of foods. And what we try to do is, again, link the evidence of what we know, what is on the cusp of probably going to be ultimately determined, but maybe is still in the process of, data collection. But we do avoid, sort of blessing one particular food as being holier than everything else. Dr. Harris, you want to say anything else?
Yeah, I'll just add to that. You'll find that as we go through, especially when we're in the teaching kitchen setting, that questions like this will pop up. So, hey, can I use, culinary amounts of mushrooms to boost my immune system, or does it have to be more of a pharmacological dose, like a dietary supplement, right? Stuff like this will come up, and we'll just talk through it, and we'll definitely share what we know. And there's a lot of Q&A that's going on during these sessions when you may come up with a question, and how do I translate this to the patient? And another thing that's nice is we have some of our graduate students in nutrition who are training to become dietitians. When they're available, they'll join these labs too. So there's a lot of nice dialogue that happens where these kinds of questions may come up, and we'll have time to kind of address them in a different way, But yeah, I agree. We don't just promote one type of food. It really is trying, to get you to understand that there's no magic pill, there's no magic diet. Nutrition is very personalized, and there are ways that we can present this to our patients and to help facilitate true behavior change.
And I just want to quickly sneak in too that one of the focus concepts is the idea of your dietary pattern. That means the collective whole of everything you're eating, everything you're drinking. And what we've learned is that there definitely are synergies between different foods. And so the erroneous focus on a singular halo food is really misplaced. When we look at all types of chronic disease, irrespective of the category, what we see is that it is the person's collective dietary pattern that makes a difference. How long does that, is it a week? Is it a month? We honestly don't know that answer, but we know it is not a single event. It is not a single day, and is not a single food. And so what we do with the pathway is try to get you to appreciate that throughout the whole pathway, and also expose you to understanding the core or most commonly eaten foods of different cultures, so that you can be very sort of sensitive and have humility in terms of realizing there's a lot of different approaches to get to a healthy pattern of eating. So the way that you're applying, you're going to actually read Lisa Goodman's email. There's a form in there that you have to fill out. And then for us, it's very straightforward. Your CV and whatever you submitted for medical school is fine. I mean, honestly, don't worry about, is it polished to perfection? A few hundred words why you're interested. Again, it's not a dissertation. And you're going to submit that to the nutrition@case.edu email. And voila, you've applied. We do take everyone that applies. I said that, and Dr. Harris said that at last week's meeting, because we feel it's unethical to turn someone away who is actually interested in their own health. So we ask that you not apply if you're genuinely not interested, but what we'll do is wait to see who has a different preference first. And, if you accept another pathway, enjoy it. and we'll pull you off of our list, but we don't refuse anyone. We are the only pathway that accepts everyone for that philosophical reason. You can also, Dr. Harris is in the middle of storms in Rocky River, but you can also email either of us. You know, it's just our name, like hope.barkukas at Case, and Stephanie's is stephanie.harris. We'll be happy to answer, or just quick pick up the phone and answer any other questions you have. Anybody else? Well, I'm not going to keep you. We'll be always very respectful of your time. Thanks again. We look forward to getting to know you all, and have a good remaining couple weeks until we hopefully see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Here we are again.
Yep, I'm sure that she lost power because it's bad here, so I'm guessing, oops, yep, I thought so. I figured we lost you with the storm.
My power just completely went off.
Yeah, I figured.
on.
I just got done telling him, I said, I know